friends! Welcome to our last Thursday challenge of paper circuits. We are doing our Pokemon week, and today's challenge circuit is really tricky indeed. If you look in the back, we're doing Blastoise, and it's going to pay off because we'll be able to fire our LEDs independently or together, whatever we want to do. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's just a little bit of a trickier circuit. So this is our Thursday challenge today. But if it's your first day with us, I totally suggest you try a easier paper circuit in our playlist to get your paper circuit wits within you, and then try this one. I'm going to go over what we need for all of our paper circuits, and then if you want to shout out, make sure you type your name in our chat box, and we will give you a shout out before we get going. And I think that's it. Oh, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get our updates whenever we go live. We will be back in September, so we're going to take a 2-week break. We're going to be back in September with 2 weeks of Indiana Jones science, 2 weeks of weather science, and then in October we have some marine science planned, which is going to be really fun. And if you have a plan of what you would like to learn, please email me at drerica@rosieresearch.com, and we can put that on our list and we can vote on it and we can see which ones everybody wants to do it the most. Georgia, you have a comment?
If this happens to you,
no,
it happened on accident.
I know, that's okay. We can talk about that when we get there. George is a little bit ahead of us. She has already started wiring up her circuit. All right, so the first thing you're going to need for our project today is our handout. This came in your email. If you don't have it, you can totally get it at patreon.com/rosieresearch, where you can support us for as little as $1 a week, which is only $4 a month, which is like a coffee. Or you can get all of our paper circuits on Teachers Pay Teachers. So you can check us out. If you search Teachers Pay Teachers for Rosie Research, you'll find these guys on there also. You can find all of our paper circuit templates out there because we've done 30 this summer. So you're going to need this printout. You're going to need some LEDs to make it work. I'm going to use red ones today because I think red is very blasty. But you can choose what color you want. You'll need 2 LEDs. You're going to need 1 battery for each project. You're going to need some non-conductive tape. So this is a paper tape or a plastic tape. So a masking tape, scotch tape, duct tape, electrical tape, washi tape, all those types of papery or plasticky tapes are really good for our non-conducting tapes. And then you'll need something that's conductive. So we have copper tape as our conducting tape. There's also aluminum tape that's silver like this. And if you don't have that, you could cut strips of aluminum foil. I do have my aluminum foil out today because this is an easy way to make your circuits work a little bit better if something goes wrong. And today it's going to be really useful to use just a tiny little bit of it on top of our battery. So I really suggest a little bit of aluminum foil for today. And I think that's all we need. Scissors. Did I mention the scissors? We need some scissors. So if you don't have scissors, go grab them.
Enthusiasm.
And yes, and your enthusiasm. It's going to take a little bit. And while we go through our shout outs, if you want, you can absolutely go around and cut out Blastoise because it's going to be a little tricky for cutting out today. All right, who do we have with us?
We have, first up, it was Miss Mimi.
Hello, Mimi. I'm so glad you're with us today.
She always has the best emoticons to show up.
Oh, I'm sad I don't get to see them.
Colors, and this is a cat inside of a box. Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's cat. Oh. That makes me happy. A little quantum physics for us.
Mm-hmm. Is it alive? Is it not? We'll never know.
Nobody knows. Until we look, and then we ruin it.
We got Sai.
Hello, Sai! I'm super excited that you guys are back today. I'm glad that Pokemon brought you guys into us.
And we've got a birthday girl.
Happy birthday, Naomi!
We got a birthday girl.
It's very exciting. I am so happy for you. I hope you had a fabulous breakfast. Pancakes, maybe? I don't know. I hope it was fabulous. I hope you're having a great day so far. Happy birthday. And Naomi is also the creator of some other cool Pokemon circuits. What? She sent them to us and Georgia made it. How cute is this one? Love it. We're still waiting on a hedgehog one.
Naomi's is better.
Yeah, Naomi's got a cool one. Happy birthday.
We have some sleepyheads today, so that's
okay. Well, I know that John already made his. They sent us a picture of his completely made. So he won't be here today. He got too excited yesterday. But we will say hello to Rohan and Venetia and Kaya and Zoe and Brody and Chase and Hassan, just in case they come later in the afternoon.
We can't forget Griffin.
And Griffin! And Raiden.
And man.
Ugh.
The cruise.
I know, we have such a crew.
Oh, John is here. No, John G.
John Good?
Yeah, John G.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's
Maybe
here.
John is here. Oh, hi John! How are you?
You couldn't resist.
I know. Good work getting yours working. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do as we hang out and chat for a little bit is cut out our Blastoise. This is maybe one of the harder pieces of this circuit because this guy is like very intense. And I gotta say, I love that on Naomi's, on hers, she actually printed the characters on it so you could trace it through the paper. I thought that was really clever. I like that idea. I'm a big fan. Although I'm also sort of like, I like seeing everybody's like art that they made. You know, like how they drew it. But it's like, you gain a lot of like, it looks super cute when it looks.
So it looks like the name Blastoise comes from blast tortoise.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I get that.
Is it Blastus then maybe? Because tortoise. Are we saying it wrong?
Tortoise. Maybe Blastus. Maybe.
Maybe we're saying it wrong. We need a Pokemon knowledgeable expert.
Like a Pokemon master.
Who can tell us all of this.
And there's 7 times as many boys as girls.
Do the girls also get their guns?
Oh, look.
Do the girls get to blast?
And it turns out these are actually water cannons.
Oh,
But they can shoot water with the strength that they can punch a hole in steel.
Okay, so I'm going to change mine to blue LEDs. I didn't know that it was water. Why did I think it was lasers? I think everything's lasers because I love lasers. Because lasers are amazing. But that sounds fun because then you could have Blastoise come to your birthday party and like start up like a water slide.
A water fight.
That would be awesome.
Epic water fight. Because laser fights, generally somebody ends up not alive. But water fights...
Water fights are like way more safe.
Although if it can punch a hole in steel, maybe it's
But I bet it could control it. Come on.
It can hit a target 160 feet away. So half a football field.
Yeah, so you really want this guy on your team for the water gun fight. Make sure if you're team captain, pick this one first. That's a good time. Alright, I'm getting close to having it all cut out.
It does hide when it's scared.
Oh.
But that's because it has a shell. It's a turtle. Or tortoise.
A turtle.
A turtleless.
That's awesome. I love that. I think it'd be really cool to carry your home around with you everywhere you go. Like, always on the road, but also always at home. That sounds kind of neat. It sounds like some good adventures. Alright, so I have my little guy all cut out. We are going to bypass drawing it today, so you guys get to do that as a little extra activity. And you could do it in Zoom if you want to, but we're going to get wiring up because there are some special things about this circuit today. And before we wire, we're going to fold on these 2 dotted lines right here. So you're going to fold the T up just like that. And then you're going to sort of fold it up like a little further down on this bottom one. I would love to give you some help, Georgia. I can give you some help just a little bit when we're at your
I
spot.
just want to say, do you do this way where you put it on top?
Yes, ma'am. You do. Alright, so I sort of have 2 folds in this T. That lets it sort of clamshell up like that. Alright. And this is actually going to be where our switches are. The way our switches are going to work is we're having 2 wires that come down in here. This one's always connected to the battery. And this one's always connected to the LED. So unlike all of our other switches where we make it connect at the battery, we're actually going to make these guys connect down here. And that's how I can connect to this side and make this one light up, or connect to this side to make that one light up, or connect both of them if I want to. And this little T piece will be what we use to connect it. So we have sort of a new type of switch today.
Such a cool switch. Yeah,
I'm kind of excited. Alright, so the first thing after we get our tape on, I'm just going to tape this up onto my Curious George book for you guys. We are going to, unlike normal, we are going to actually start with the orange wire today. Alright, so if you started with the yellow wire, that's okay as long as you didn't do these guys. we want to start with the orange wire. It's going to go straight through the green circle. All right, and when we get it started, we want to get it started really carefully. Sort of push it off like that. Georgia earlier had the white on the backing and the white coming off. And you just got to either rip it or smush it off so that you have a copper colored backing. And then we're going to stick it straight to the paper before we peel it all the way off. You do want to be pretty close onto these template lines up here because we don't want where the orange and the yellow are to touch. Okay, that's going to be really important. So we're going to go down this template, and then at this little corner, we'll give ourselves a little extra space and just press it down, and that will make that turn for us. So again, I'm going to just give it a little extra, come off, and then I'm going to press this down, just like this, and I'm going to bring it right along up to the end, and then I can press my fingernail down and I can pull up and it rips it. Usually pretty good.
I did everything but these. I can do everything else.
That looks
and
great.
I also want to show you how good I did this.
It looks really good. George's looks just like mine, actually. It looks better than mine. She did a good job. All right, so Georgia, we are in the next part where we want to test our batteries before we put them in. So you should also figure out what colors you want. And now with this new knowledge, I'm going to do blue.
I'm going to do blue and green.
And since we are doing 2 LEDs, we want to test both at the same time with our battery. And to make your LED light up, there is one LED leg that's like slightly longer and one that's slightly shorter. The one that's slightly longer goes on the top of the battery, and the one that's slightly shorter goes on the bottom, so you sort of have this circuit where the battery is sort of right in between those little LED legs. Right? The short leg is on the bottom, which is the polka dotty side, and the long leg is on the top that has sort of the inscriptions and the plus sign and whatnot. So you want to make sure that you can get your LED to light up. If you have it backwards, it won't light up. All right, and that's because LEDs are like little one-way streets or one-way slides, and the electrons will only slide down from top to bottom. They follow rules really, really well. Such good rule followers, those little electrons. So if I want to put them both on at the same time, I do need to double check that my battery can do that with the colors I've chosen. Sometimes you can't add a second one, so you do want to make sure that you can get both of them on. All right, so now, Georgia, you can follow along with us. We're going to take a piece of our non-conducting tape. So we want our masking tape, and we're going to take like a little skinny strip of it, just like this. And you're going to take your battery and put it right on top of that green line so that you can see the plus sign. All right, that's really important. We want to see that plus sign. It's going to be right on top of that green circle. And then we're going to add in this piece of non-conductive tape just on the edge.
Like this?
Just like that.
Like right here?
Yep, just on the sides or the edges. As long as we don't go over the top. That's what we want to skip doing. And it's okay if I cover the lines up right here a little bit, because our LEDs are going to touch right here. All right, I do need to leave the top part way open for these wires that we're going to put in just a little bit. But it's okay if I have a little tape over here, and if I want, I can add some more, another secondary piece of tape, maybe down at the bottom to hold it in as well. Just like that. Beautiful. How you doing, Georgia? Well, that looks great. All right, so now that we have our battery in, so this is very different from usual. First we did our orange line, then we taped in our battery. Now we're gonna do these outside yellow lines first. All right, so I'm gonna do these outside yellow lines. Uh-oh. Sometimes I put some regular tape around my copper tape so it doesn't go every which way. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape down on these lines. I want to make sure that the tape I put down on this yellow line doesn't touch the tape I already have. Alright, that's really important because then the little electrons say, ooh, why do I even need to go through that light? Who needs to go through all that trouble of lighting up if I can just skip that whole thing? And they will. So we're going to go down.
But they would still have fun.
They'd still have fun, but they just wouldn't light up anymore. And we have fun when it lights up. I'm going to come down here, and then when I need to go straight down, I'm going to give myself a little extra space on that And I can come down here later and press it down onto the thing. And then as I bend this, I do need to still make sure that it doesn't touch right there. So I'm actually going to make sure with my nail, I'm just going to bend it around to make sure that it doesn't touch. I still can see white paper between everything. All right, I'm going to come down into this gray box, really well into that gray box, and then rip it. And I can smooth that out just like that. So again, just one single line coming down. They don't touch right here, so I can see that paper in there. And then I've got it inside this box. Because these red boxes down here, they actually line up with these gray boxes. And we're going to cover this all with copper tape. So when we press, it's like a big piece of copper tape that will connect it.
Actually, I don't need help. I think all I needed help with, I didn't need help. I just needed to tape down my battery.
Perfect. All right, we're going to do it on the other side as well. So we're going to come down here. We're going to make sure that we don't touch these two lines together. And at this turn, again, I'm going to just sort of peel back a little extra and press it down away from the turn, further down from the turn. And that will just sort of make the turn go for me. All right, and then into that gray circle, or that gray square, sorry. And we're going to flatten it out. I am not touching right up here, but I'm super close. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my nail to make sure it's got a little extra space. All right, so if yours looks super close, just use your nail to move it around. Now we're going to do this one. All right, this yellow line is going to tape directly to the battery. And it's a bonus if we can actually sort of curl this copper tape at the top so that it doesn't have a sticky part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the copper tape that looks like this and I'm going to curl it onto itself. So I'm going to just curl it onto itself so that there's a little bit of tab that's not sticky. So right now I have it sort of coming out and I'm just going to press it down onto itself so I have a little part that's not sticky. And if that's too hard, that's okay. You don't have to do this part. It makes it work a little better, but we can use aluminum foil to fix it. So that part that we just curled over, we're going to stick to the battery just like that. And the reason why we like to curl that little bit over is now there's a part that doesn't have that sticky glue for the electrons to go through. And we're going to continue to tape right on down this other yellow line. All right, so that one goes straight onto the battery. Yeah, I'm a little crumpled up here. It's okay. And again, we're going to go into that gray circle, nice and far, just like that. Or the gray square, sorry. I'm so used to circles. Just like that. You don't want to press this part right here down too hard because you're liable to accidentally rip this as you press it down, and then we'd have to do it. So it is not going to be perfect right there. It's just going to be a little bit off. I'm going to double check I have enough. So again, to show you guys on that battery part, what you can do is just have a little bit free, and you're going to bend it over onto itself. So I sort of have that bend going. I'm just going to keep going onto itself so I have a little loop just like that, and I can press that loop so it's stuck to itself for just a little bit of it. And then that is what I'm going to stick straight to the battery. Now make sure that the second one is also touching the battery. It's not like on top of the first piece of copper tape. We want it also touching the battery top, and we'll just press that down, and then we can make this turn by giving ourselves a little bit of extra. Right, like that. Oops. And then we'll come all the way down into that gray square or rectangle. Just like that. And now this piece that came off my battery, that's okay. What we're going to do is we're actually going to take a piece of non-conductive tape. Alright, and Georgia, you're going to want to do this too with our piece of non-conductive tape. And for the first time, we are going to tape
you also have,
straight over our battery.
That you wanted to cut a small piece of foil and tape it down.
Oh, yeah, did I have that on there?
Yeah.
So let's do that also. So Georgia, you might want to join us for this part.
I just needed
Here's a piece
one
of
more
foil for you. So you're going to take just a little piece of foil. Doesn't need to be big. And you're going to place it straight on top of that battery, just like that, okay? So I have my two pieces down here that are hopefully flipped over, and also a piece of foil. This helps just everything be sort of always on. And we are going to just tape straight over the top of the battery. So for the first time ever, we are going to not be able to see our battery. Just like that.
Oh my gosh, wait, we're doing that?
So you're gonna put a little piece of foil right there first, and now tape over your whole battery. Just like that. So now in theory, if I close these pieces with either foil or copper tape, my LEDs would light up. All right?
It's supposed to be done.
And so what we're gonna do first, hang on, we'll check on it in just a minute. I think your LED legs need a little help. First, we're going to cover this part of our switch with copper tape. All right, so I'm gonna move this up just a little bit. Just like that. And I'm gonna cover this switch with copper tape. Now you don't have to cover it with just one piece of tape. All right, you can cover it with a lot of little pieces of tape, kind of like a hardwood floor. So you can like lay a line down like that, and then you can just rip it up. And then you can lay another piece of your copper tape hardwood floor next to it. I'm gonna take that piece off. Just like this. And we're gonna cover it. So we're gonna keep doing this until we have covered this whole piece of red. Okay, and this is what's gonna happen is when we flip this up here, we're gonna have conductive copper tape that's not sticky pressing right against here, and it's gonna create a whole bunch of paths for those electrons to finally get across that paper bridge that we made. So that will be our switch. And once you have it mostly ready, you're just gonna press it down with your fingers. Just makes it look a little nicer, and then we gotta do the other side as well. So we're just gonna lay down the copper tape, and we're just gonna do a whole bunch of lines. It's great if your lines overlap. It's better to overlap than it is to have like huge gaps of paper. You really want good coverage on this. Georgia, I will totally help you in just a minute.
I'm gonna keep trying.
I love that plan. I think that's a fantastic plan. That is how we learn the most. All right, so now I'm gonna push this stuff down. So now if I were to come up here and press on these, you could even look under, but this, you have this big copper plate that's gonna connect these. All right, and when I connect it, I'll have the bottom of the battery through my LED into here. I'll be able to jump this because I'll have that plate there, and then I'll go into the top of the battery, which creates a circuit. So now we are just going to tape in our LEDs. So the long leg is the one that comes down to the rectangle, and the short leg is the one that goes directly to the battery. So you're just going to want to make sure that you've got your legs in the right direction, and we'll tape them in with our non-conductive tape. Just like this.
I'm going to make sure that's on the copper tape.
And you want to make sure it's on the copper tape, not on the paper. And you're going to want to make sure that you have really good contact right there. And then we can test it by coming over here and flipping this up. If it doesn't work for you, one thing to try is maybe actually press on this battery. You can even see when I press on my battery, it gets a little bit brighter. Okay, if you need to press on the battery, what I would do is just press really hard a couple times to really make it a good sandwich, or put some tape on there to really stick it down, because it just means it's coming up off the back part that's contacting that short leg piece a little bit. And the other thing you can check is like how well are your legs taped in, like always.
And the short leg, when it says short leg, you measure these legs and see this one's shorter.
Yep, you always want to make sure you've got those legs in the right spot. I'll ruin it for you every time. So I'm going to just get a littler piece of tape for myself for the other LED. And again, the long leg is going to be what comes down into this gray rectangle, and the short leg is going to go straight under that battery. And so we can come over here and we can tape it in, making sure that we know we've got the right leg in the right spot, and also that they're touching the copper tape. All right, and then you're going to want to press that in really good. And we can test this side by pressing on this one. So this side over here controls this LED. This side over here controls that LED. And you can now control where it blasts, which I think is really happy. Oh, we got to make sure that we know where to press, because you notice that I'm pressing over here, it's not working. You do want to press over the top of where those two lines would be coming towards each other. And that is your Blastoise project, or Blastoise project. And perfect. Georgia needs a little troubleshooting, which I love, because it'll let us troubleshoot. So Georgia, I'm going to take a look at yours real fast. And let's double check Let's see, she's got these guys taped in beautifully. Oh, so hers, it was just the legs, and there's a little bit with the battery, which we'll be able to fix. And I just want to check this side now. Yep, hers is, notice how when I press here and the battery, hers goes on. So hers is a problem with just the battery piece, and that's okay.
Wait, before you do that,
Yeah.
can you move the LEDs up? Because I noticed that.
Oh, you would like your LEDs, okay. So Georgia would like to move her LEDs up a little. And that's an easy thing to do. We can just take it off really carefully, because sometimes if you don't take it off carefully right there, you will find that it rips your copper tape, which is always a bummer. Alright, so we're going to make sure we're going to tape it back on up here and make sure that they have good contact right there with their things. Now, hers doesn't go on until I press this battery. Alright, so we do need to fix that. And one way you can probably fix it is just a long piece of tape that's going to put some pressure on it for
It
us.
feels like there's something right here.
You have a mustache. So what we can do is we can try this and just put a long piece of tape over. That didn't quite do it for us. So I'm going to show you guys another plan. Let's open this up and see what we got from Georgia here. And when we take this off, it's going to take the aluminum foil off. Thankfully we've got, there we go. Alright, Alright, so I'm going to take Georgia's, these little pieces right here on Georgia's, I'm going to pick them up a little bit. And I'm going to really fold them under. I think she was trying something else during that little step. Which is okay. So I'm just going to pick it up and then curl it over under itself. So I do have the metal, I just shortened it, touching the top piece of it. I'm just going to do that real fast. So I'm going to just pinch it and then flip it back over onto the battery right there. I'm going to do the same on this side. And then I'm also even going to add a little piece of foil. Probably should have done this before. A little piece of foil underneath is what we can also add. But let's see if this will fix it for us first.
If you need any tape, just ask me and you can just take it off my head.
Oh yeah.
Look.
You got a lot of tape on your face?
Yeah.
Alright, and now I'm going to squish this guy up and press it over as well. We're going to try taping hers in a little better. See how much it comes off right there? We're going to tape it in a little bit better for her, and what we can also do to help that is just throw a little piece of aluminum foil underneath the battery as well. So I can go under this battery here and put that foil in like that. And that just gives it a little bit better connection. And before we do that though, we're going to tape it down.
Si's got his to work.
Nice job, Sai! Nice job. That is awesome. I'm so proud of you guys. You guys do such a good job. Alright, so this might have actually worked really well also without the foil underneath, but we're going to tape hers in a little bit better. Just to get a little bit of pressure going down. This one's totally fallen off, but we'll put it back on just like that. Whew. So close. And then we need a little bit of foil for hers. So this is the fix that you would want to do if you find out that it only works when you press on the battery. Alright, you would double check, you would try to make sure that these guys sort of fold over on themselves. You can do this part right here. That we've got the aluminum foil coming over the top.
Are you still working on mine?
I'm still working on yours.
Is it even
And now we can check. So this side's working good. This side's not quite there. But maybe if I just put another piece of tape, we'll get to where we want to be for Georgia's. That will help press it down some. Let's see. There we go. Alright, so now hers is all ready. So if you have to press on the battery to make it go on, that's a couple things you can do. Make sure that this tape that's coming on top of the battery curls under, and then put a little piece of foil behind the battery and a little piece of foil on top of the battery. And that should help make sure that you have really good contact on your battery, and you will be ready to make your little guy go. There we go. Awesome. Alright, So, I hope you guys had so much fun making these guys. Now you have a whole lot of work to do to also decorate it. Alright, and don't forget we have some other Pokemon videos. If you loved this one and you're just joining us the first time, we've got Pikachu, we've got Butterfree, we have a Charmander. This is Georgia's Charmander. And tomorrow we're making a Pokeball, which is our Friday victory lap. It's super duper easy. I'm super excited about that. So please make sure you join us. And again, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you know when we're going live. It's really easy to follow. Come over into our Zoom classroom where you can share things. Tomorrow is our talent show in Zoom. So I cannot wait to see what people bring to the talent show table. And you can always support us at patreon.com/RosieResearch. All right, goodbye to my YouTube friends and hello to my Zoom friends. And Georgia.